Welcome back to Elevation Perspective. My name is Mark, joined tonight with Dan and Frank talking about the Mets. Another 2-4 week, lost two out of three to the Blue Jays and two out of three to the Braves. Now 37 and 53 overall. They are within a couple of games of that first overall pick now as the worst team in baseball. So it's not getting better, unfortunately. Talk about some good. This week, our two wins both came from Nolan McLean, so he pitched very well. Nice to see that. The kids are playing well. Ewing, Benj, Soto's awesome. Lindor hit a few home runs this week. So reaching for any kind of positives, but it was kind of just another losing week in Mets baseball.
Yeah, I mean, this is a weird way to word it. Probably the best 2-4 week they've had in a while because you've actually seen some things that you're like, oh, okay, that's encouraging and like isn't just like a short-term answer. But yeah, this season is cooked. This year's over, but there are some things that we could look forward to going forward at
I
least.
wanted to see how you're going to spin that best 2-4 week, but yeah, there's
Yeah, no, I mean, most of them are just like, wow, that was a pathetic week. No one looked good. But no, the kids all it was a bad week for Scott, but he's been good lately. I don't want to hold that against him too hard. Nolan was awesome. Benj is solid. Ewing was good. Like at least the guys that you are hoping for long term have looked good lately.
Frank. I know you were locked into the Sunday game where they almost choked that crazy ninth inning. How'd you feel about the week overall?
Congratulations to Juan Soto on being named an All-Star starter. That's what I got for
Hmm.
you right now. It's bad. Things are bad. I just watch every night. I'm like, it's so bad. Dan liked it, so that's good.
That's not what
Somebody
I said.
somebody Dan kind of liked it, so that's good.
That's
Somebody enjoyed
no.
something, you know?
There's
I think I'm going to enjoy watching this team play a lot more after the trade deadline. I think there's
Yeah,
a
I
couple of players that I just cannot watch play baseball anymore, and I expect them to be gone one way or the other at the trade deadline. We can kind of get into those players are, but you probably know who I'm thinking of when I say that. But just talking about the trade deadline, talking about the value of players, I wrote down a few names here. Freddie Peralta got killed again in Toronto, so he just continues to sink us with his trade value. Bo, really good. Bo, a really good week. I still think that he's going to get traded now. I think he's definitely going to opt out. Vientos hit a home run off Sale. He made a couple errors too. He is pretty terrible, but a home run off Chris Sale, a team might see that and be like, Mark Vientos could be our lefty masher, maybe. Who knows? And then Luke Weaver up to 25 straight scoreless innings.
yeah, I mean it's Weaver. Weaver's gonna get traded. That'll be good. Vientos kind of feel like you're in the same boat with Dave Peterson, where it's like if you get a living, breathing human being for Mark Vientos, you just wow. You know what I mean? Like cash considerations. Like that's what it feels like. Vientos is going for like your worst prospect and $5. Beatty, the same thing. It's like if you get a breathing human being back, like that's crazy. You know what I mean?
I
Like
jotted down Beatty also, but like I don't think there's. I mean, I hope he's gone, but like,
how is there a market for Vientos and not Beatty? That's the only thing I'm going to ask you. That's the
well,
only.
listen, Vientos has 10 home runs, hits lefties decently well. Brett Beatty's batting 218 with three home runs. He has three home runs where it's July 5th. Beatty has three home runs.
And so bad. They're all so bad. I don't. Peralta too. I know you keep saying he's going to get traded. I also still believe that he's going to get traded. I just, if you're a team, you just why even touch it? You know what I mean? Like why? Like you need to be so longing for pitching right now. That guy is going out there every week and just giving you the worst pitching performances of his career. He might be cooked. He just might be
I
done.
mean, he's got a track record of being a legitimate
Hmm.
two, borderline one for the last handful of years. Like, I wouldn't be stunned, shocked, surprised at all if a team gets their hands on him, changes one thing, and he's back to Freddie. We can't do it. It's clear that our pitching team, our pitching lab can't unlock whatever that is. I know there's different things. His extension is way down. There's a few different pitch shape things with him going on right now, but I can just easily see another team getting their hands on him and him being a game two playoff starter this season.
I do think Bo is going to get us something back if that is the route they decide to go. We will see. I don't even know if he's going to get traded. And Weaver obviously is going to be should be highly sought after now. Outside of those two guys, it doesn't really feel like anybody is bringing anything good back. Like anything good back. You know what I mean? Like you look at this team and it's like, oh, they have a bunch of pieces to trade off, but they really don't. Everyone's just playing so terrible, which is why we're 16, 15 games under.
Other than Peralta, no one here is really going to get you anything crazy. Like starting pitching is such a valuable commodity at the trade deadline that I don't care how bad he's been for the last like month. He's going to get you something good if he gets traded. That's just how starting pitching this time of year goes. I feel like with everyone else, it's just kind of like you get guys that are going to be lottery tickets. Like you're not going to get anyone's like, oh, you can't miss with that guy for this reliever prospect you just traded. But you get guys that you might be like, oh, he might be something, maybe.
They can also look to package guys together. They can be like, take Rayleigh and Minter, take two guys where that can definitely increase the prospect capital coming back. There's different variables here. I'm excited. It's depressing. This is what I'm most excited for, the trade deadline, but I just want to see like 15 of these players off the roster and see what kind of youth comes back. And then we try again next year. And that's kind of life of a Mets fan right now, unfortunately. We can kind of dive into next year a little bit with the Steve Cohen interview he did with the Post this week with Joel Sherman
Mhm.
and John Heyman. It was interesting. He was very transparent. He's obviously not happy. He's very frustrated. He endorsed David Stearns. He said he's going to play out the 5-year contract, so that goes to 2028. Nothing kind of breaking news in there, but it was just interesting seeing him so transparent.
That was refreshing because I mean, the narrative is always just like, oh, they're complacent. It's just money. Like, I don't even know how it became a thing at one point. But some people said he just wanted the money for the casino, which is guy owns the Mookie Wilson ball from the '86 World Series. He's clearly very invested. Um, but yeah, it was nice to hear. I did see a report. I don't. It might have been Sherman said that a lot of executives think after the way the season has played out, they're almost more in belief that they're just going to throw a bag at Tarek Skubal, which is kind of in line with what they would do. Starting pitching is their biggest Achilles heel for the last year, year and a half. So very, very insightful week.
It doesn't really do much for me. I need to see things, you know what I mean? Like I appreciate the talk, but uh, the first thing he says is David Stearns coming back. Okay. All right. Well, that's been the face of losing for the last 2 seasons. So it's been his bad decisions that have caused us to be where we are right now in the lowest point that we've been since Steve Cohen's been the owner of the team. So if David Stearns is coming back, how can I take him or anything that we do seriously? And I believe, like, look, that feels harsh. Like even as I'm saying it, that feels harsh. But I do believe that I speak for more than 85% of our fan base when I say that they will believe that this team is a joke until somebody else is in charge. And nobody can blame them. Literally, nobody can blame them with how this season has gone. So, I don't know. To me, it's just he sat there. He said Stearns is coming back. He said everything he needed to say. Okay, we'll keep hanging on to it. David David Stearns has never won a World Series. David Stearns has never brought a team close to a World Series. Brewers get eliminated in the first round every single year. So every time we mention them as like, oh, that we want to be like that. We don't want to be like them. I don't want to be like them. I I don't understand why we're this is not the guy. Like this is not the guy to hold on to where you're it's like, oh, we got to give this guy another chance. He's never done anything. He's never done anything that we haven't accomplished on our own. And like, if the ultimate goal is winning a World Series, it would be David Stearns' first time doing it too. So
Frank, I've been extremely critical of David Stearns, especially the last handful of weeks when everything really went south. I think there is something to it, though, the way he talked about it, where we don't want to keep turning and churning. We don't want to just keep having this new guy in, new guy out. And yes, like no question, you can't spin anyway. He has failed to this point. We're in year 3 of year 5. He has failed to this point as the president of baseball operations for the Mets. But also, I'm kind of sitting here like, if a brand new guy comes on the door right now, then we're starting over again with new coaches, new this, new that. I feel like honestly, like I said, I've kind of been calling for Stearns, but maybe we just let this play out, play the contract out. But if in 1 year and 2 years we're still here, then obviously you go with a new guy. But I feel like we're at a point now where we're this deep in, we have to let it play out. We can't keep switching guys.
I hear you, but we're not in July of his second year. Like he's in year 3 now. He's gotten worse every single year. He hasn't made a good move in he hasn't made a good impactful move that is going to impact this team next year. Tell me the move that David Stearns has made at the major league level that is going to impact the New York Mets if baseball is played in 2027. You can't. You
Mm.
can't. You can't find the move, and that's a freaking problem.
I
He's
mean,
been here for the next
Luke
three
Weaver has a
seasons.
contract. Bo Bichette,
But
I don't think he's
Luke
opting
Weaver's going
out
to be
like they're all.
gone. Luke Weaver's going to be
I mean, again, he's
traded.
under contract. That's if they want to
there are a
trade him.
lot of variables, but
He's
your
on the
point
team.
is your point's fair. It's true. It's there.
Yeah.
You so listen. if you gave him 6 years, he's on average to make zero good moves. That's the truth. Like that is law of averages here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I get it. Obviously, Dan has mentioned before, he's done a really good job building up the farm system. They're a lot better off in the farm than they are. Maybe that comes to fruition, and maybe he has to do less front office wise. He should really hire a GM because it's very clear he has no clue what he's doing on that front. Um, but I just worry about a guy like this because it's like I don't know. I think somebody said it and they started running with it of like him being, he thinks he's the smartest person in the room, but at a certain point, starting to give off that feel. And I'm not going to accuse him
Mm.
of being that. I don't know what he thinks. The press conferences are really hard to watch sometimes where he just sits there and he smiles the whole time. And when Pete was gone, he sat there and smiled. And it just feels like it's rubbing you the wrong way. But I'm not going to sit here and say that he thinks that he's smarter than everybody else. I don't know him as a person, so I can't do that. But it is really starting to feel it's all really starting to feel bad, I guess is what I'm saying. Like every part of it.
I don't hate the idea of a GM. Obviously, if the right person becomes available, that's something they should consider. But again, like Mark said, you take the time to build up the farm, which has clearly moved in the right direction. And not to be devil's advocate, he was the assistant GM as the Astros built up the team that won multiple World Series. He
That
left right
means
before that.
nothing. Being the
Okay.
assistant GM is like
Okay.
being
Okay.
I don't
That's
know.
not
That's
fair. That's not fair.
Then he went to Milwaukee where they came a game short of a pennant and they're in it every single year. Like we would love it if we were the Milwaukee Brewers right now. We would love it if we were those Astros right now.
And the thing
I mean,
is, like, that's
you
what I
can't just
wanted. And Dan, you and I have talked about this a
mm,
lot, where it's just like, just be in the playoffs every year. Just have a
mm,
fighting chance every year. We understand how baseball works. You're not going to win the World Series every year. You're happy if you win one every 20 years, but
mm,
just be competitive every season. The amount of inconsistency with this team over our lifespan of watching this team over our 30 years has been insane. When they made the playoffs in consecutive years, like twice during our watching of
mm,
baseball. That's insane. Like, they're just never a consistent group. And we thought this was going to be the Brewers with money. We thought this was going to be a team that Stearns put together. Every year they're going to be around 90 wins, going to be a playoff team, and then you roll the dice and you see what happens. And that has not happened to this point, but that's all we're asking for as fans.
right. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not going to sit here and say this year was good. This year he's made some bad moves. He last year there was some good moves and some bad. And I think last year was more unlucky. This year's is more of just too many swings and misses. But again, like the idea, like Cohen said when he came in, we want to be the East Coast Dodgers. The reason they are where they are is because whenever they have a hole, there's a kid ready to come in and just fill that hole. And we don't have that right now. We have to give guys $20 million to fill a hole and hope that they can give us a competent major league player. And our two guys who we did that to have barely played. So I think it does take more time to turn into that kind of thing. We're a team that can just constantly plug in guys because they clearly did not have it. The farm system was in such a bad place in 2023. It's just been such a painful ride getting there.
I
It's
think I think it's the thing that rattles in my brain every time I think of him that I can't let him off the hook of that you guys are letting him off the hook and that's fine. The thing that rattles around in my brain is his whole entire offseason was built around run prevention. And we make the worst errors I've ever seen. That's just fielding. The pitching is terrible. Who decided that this was going to be the run prevention team? We didn't sign a real first baseman. We said run prevention. We were like first base. Who needs it? We'll just put
Listen,
anyone there. We'll
Well,
just
to
put
be
Jorge
well,
Polanco there.
to be fair, it was supposed to be Polanco who hasn't played.
yeah.
Like, I
But
know, I know,
Yeah.
I,
The
I
guy
he's
know
the
what
not
you're
a
guy
real
who's
saying.
first baseman. He's not even
the
a
guy
real
who's
first
playing
base.
has played first base since 2022 though. At least in part. Obviously we had Alonso who didn't need him, but like Vientos has been playing first base since 2022. He's just not good. Jared Young plays first base
But that's kind of my point, is that
and
that the whole thing of
it's
getting
one
rid of
position.
Pete was like, okay, we don't want to play that contract. We got to do the whole run prevention thing. I, we would take Pete's errors with the 30 home runs he's going to hit this year, the 35, maybe 40 home runs he's going to hit this year. And I don't know
Well,
how that was uncalculated. How we said we don't need home runs. We're just going to play this stellar defense with two guys in the infield who have never played the positions they played. And credit to David Stearns because turning Bo Bichette into a third baseman wound up being the best
Yeah.
thing maybe for Bo Bichette's career. Like he is a good third baseman and he
mm,
looks good out there. So I will give credit where it's due, but like the absolute hole at first base when you had a guy there that was literally everything you wanted in a franchise player. and they just let him out the
Yeah.
door. The outfield defense is like they've made like 7 errors in a game like twice this year, and the pitching is terrible. That's the whole thing.
Mhm.
I think it's just like if they were like playing defense, if they were losing every game 2-1 and like the offense wasn't there, it'd be like, all right, well, they did really come through on that run prevention. He just underestimated the offense. No, he didn't do anything right. Like he didn't get any right. The offense is terrible and the defense is terrible. So that I
But
guess that's my whole thing
I
where
saw a
I'm like, I don't
stat.
want to let him off the hook for it.
I
But
saw
go
a
ahead.
stat the other day that kind of blew my mind. You know the Mets are fifth in baseball in defensive runs saved.
There's no way. You're
I saw
lying.
that too, Dan. That's kind of like I don't know how that's calculated. Like, there's no way.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know how to calculate defensive run save, but like the thing is with them, everything that's bad looks terrible. Like it's not like they're just like, oh, he was just a step short of getting to a ball. It's like, no, we have comedy of errors when we miss balls. We have guys falling down, we have guys colliding. But like again, I don't even know how it's still possible. Like the defense at first base is better than what we get from Alonso. So it's
But
not like we're
Dan,
going back. I know they're
I
But
saw that stat too, but just eye test, I watch almost every game, unfortunately. It's it's Ewing, it's Benj, and it's Bo at third or plus.
mhm.
Lindor hasn't been here. So Semion's been terrible at second. Vientos is terrible at first. Alvy's tricky behind the plate. Terens is good.
Stearns has
Um,
played a lot.
Soto's not good in left. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know how that gets calculated.
Yeah, that beats me. But I mean, it's been rough. I mean, it's not like we have nine guys around the diamond who are all playing like solid defense. It's definitely loaded towards some guys, but
And Frank, during your little rant, you get to say it. A lot of the run prevention was Lindor at short, Luis Robert in center. They weren't here. They weren't
But
here
they
for too long.
got AJ Ewing in center. They replaced the plus defender with a plus defender. So really you're just saying shortstop, which is fine. Obviously losing Francisco Lindor, huge blow. Not underestimating that.
But
That
the
still doesn't.
infield has been most of the mess. It was moving Bo to short, and then the third base situation was bad. Like the infield has been most of the problem, not the outfield.
I hear you. First base is a joke. The July 4th, the thing that the error that they made on July 4th was hysterical. You just sit there, you're like, how does it get worse? Oh, this is
hmm.
how it gets worse. Where they're not just losing, they're embarrassing themselves.
What they did.
Um, you just always you always just go, where's rock bottom? And you think you've hit it, but they haven't hit it, and I'm afraid that we have not hit it yet this season, and that's scary to think about. But no, listen, I'm sure we'll talk about David Stearns again next week and the week after that and the week after that. But I think that's really like when I sat down and thought about it after he had that whole interview, Steve Cohen had that whole interview. That was what was pressing on my mind, where it's like this run prevention team is just a boring offense with guys who can't play defense.
The one thing I will say that Cohen said that kind of blew my mind was he fully backed David Stearns and this is my guy. We're sticking with him. And then he was asked about the future, and he said, I'm extremely worried about the future. You can't say both. You can't say, this is my guy and I'm extremely worried. Like, you have to be like, I'm confident in David. Like, it was so like double-edged sword where he was like one thing and one. Like, I was just sitting there, I was like, how could you say, as the owner of this team, you're extremely worried about the team? I don't know. I was very like kind of caught off guard by that and very surprised.
I do wonder who's in his ear right now. You know what I mean? Like he's not making this decision on his own because I think he would have fired Stearns already. Because I
He
think
might be. He
I
might be
think
making this on
the
his own.
I think the reaction if you're an owner of a team and you're getting embarrassed in the way that you are, especially a guy like Steve Cohen who is a multi-billionaire who just probably has won his whole entire life at like whatever he's doing, right? You don't get that successful without stacking up a lot of wins. Like he's never lost like this before. He's watching this and he doesn't want to fire the guy in charge. I think that there is like I think he's consulting with some type of analytical firm, something, some type of risk management. Like I think there's multiple different ways that he's looking at it, from a business standpoint, from a baseball standpoint, and that's leading to them keeping Stearns. But if he's saying that, then that makes me believe that even further that there's someone else or something else telling him like, hey. Don't do anything rash here. It was just an awful season. We've gotten really unlucky the past few seasons. Like, just let the guy go to work. It's not, of course, not me, but yeah.
I feel like he kind of covered that in the presser though when he said like you don't want to just keep having turnover after turnover after turnover because what this is year 6 of him being in charge and we've had what 5 different guys, 4 different guys calling the shots. Like you
That's
can only do
crazy.
that so many times
Yeah.
where you take a guy and just say, "Hey, build it in your vision from scratch." Eventually, you have to let somebody just give them time to work with what they have.
Yeah.
Listen, hopefully the what I could say about Stearns is he failed miserably, and now he gets a chance to learn lessons from it, right? So if he learns the lessons and he can apply them next year, like you're gonna have to give Tariq Skubal a long-term contract if you want one of the best players in baseball. Uh, you're gonna have to do things differently and pay guys the right way, or you're not gonna get players, right? Like if he can learn those lessons and the offseason looks like a normal baseball offseason next year, then I will have more faith in him going into next season. But if it's the same tricks again, where it's the quick fix it pitcher and the quick where we're gonna get this gap guy for 17 million, but it doesn't actually play that position, then I think I'm gonna lose it, and that'll be a lot of fun when that does happen. But yeah,
Not a whole lot to kind of break down here, but a report did come out yesterday, Dan, that Carlos Beltran is the favorite for the manager. Anything here? Anything fun? I know you're happy about this as the guy that you
Yeah.
wanted. How do you feel?
I mean, it does seem like he's a guy that everywhere he goes, he's basically adored. Everyone says he's like a brilliant baseball mind. He's literally gotten the job before and didn't have a chance to do anything with it. So I'm not going to sit here and say I want it to be Beltran. It's obviously way too early to be like I have a favorite. I like him the most of all the guys from their playing days, but I think that would be cool. But I'm not going to sit here and say my mind is made up. It needs to be him. If they decide that Pujols is the guy, sure, why not? If Alex Cora decides he wants to pass up on that next paycheck from Boston, cool, why not?
Beltran must be, if you were to get the job, the only one ever, right? Who was hired by a team, never managed for that team, then years down the road was hired again by that team. Like that must be the only time it's
That
ever
does
happened.
feel like an extremely like niche situation. That couldn't have happened. I feel like Steinbrenner might have done that with somebody in the 70s. Like the 70s and 80s Yankees were a madhouse. So maybe it happened there, but other than that, I can't think of anybody.
All right, let's jump into the predictions from last week. First up here, Bo Bichette, 5.5 hits. Frank and I took the over. Dan took the under. Bo had 7 hits, capped with a great Sunday. So Frank and I grabbed the point. Prop number two, Shaw Mania, 7.5 strikeouts. Mark and Dan take the over. Frank takes the under. Sean had 8. So again, right there, good number. And last but not least here, Alvy and Soto, 2.5 home runs. They each had one, so only two. Dan and Frank grabbed the point there. I took the over. So close, but good ones. Everyone had two, so it's
okay,
just a wash. We're up to Mark and Frank have 24. Dan has 23.
okay.
Dogfight.
All right, this next week we have the wraparound with the Braves. We play them on Monday, and then we play the Royals and the Red Sox. So a 7 game week. Royals and Red Sox aren't very good, so those should probably be more competitive baseball games for us, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. First prop here, Frank, I'll throw it to you first. AJ Ewing and Carson Bench combined for 9.5 hits. So the two kids running around, can they get 10 hits in the 7 games? They probably will both sit a game or two, but it's 10 hits in the 7 games for the kids.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over.
Okay?
I'll take the over. They're the only good things we have going right now, them and Soto. And the kid pitchers. So yeah, let's just take the over. Let's keep the good vibes rolling.
Dan?
That is another good number. I feel like I have to stay the optimist of the group and take the over. I like the way they're both playing. Don't know if that is a high number. I can definitely see this one missing, but I do like the way they're both swinging the bat, so I'll take the over. Why not?
Unfortunately, we do all have to have the same pick there. They're the only two I won't go after, really. Like, it's really just those two and Soto where I won't say anything bad about them. So that's a wash then for the first prop. We will all take the over 9.5 hits. All right, Dan, prop number two, 3.5 wins. 7 game week, 3.5 wins. Royals, Red Sox, not good baseball teams. You got Freddie Peralta, the ace, pitching tomorrow and Sunday, or tomorrow
Mm.
and Saturday, a 2-start week. 3.5 wins, Dan. What do you got?
So I'll get into my answer. I saw the promo that the Mets put out for the Red Sox series. You know how they always do like a here's one of our guys, one of theirs. Their guy was Aroldis Chapman, and the first comment is like, "What do you mean? Come see the Red Sox closer." So I'm gonna take the under. Um, just I can't sit here and say they're going to have a winning week. Maybe they get 3 games, but I don't know the way they're playing. I got to see a winning week before I bank on one.
I know Frank's taking the under here, so I'll jump in second here and take the over. I'm going to take the over, 3.5 wins. I think the Royals are really bad. I think the Royals are a really bad baseball
Hmm.
team. We're terrible too, don't get it twisted. But I think we take 2 out of 3, maybe even sweep the Royals. And then at that point, you got to like find 1 or 2 more games against the Red Sox or maybe win tomorrow against the Braves. So I'll take the over, 3.5. Feels crazy to say this team goes 4-3 in a week, but I'm going to take the over. Frank, was I correct? You're just going to grab the under here?
Yeah, crazy. I'm gonna take the under.
Anything to
Yeah.
elaborate or just they're just going to lose every day?
No, we're just a really bad baseball team. We're
Okay.
15 games under. I think that just speaks for itself, right? Yeah.
But next week we could be 14.
And the last prop here, Freddie Peralta. Could be his last 2 starts on the team, possibly. 2 start week, 5.5 earned runs. I'll take the over. I'll say Freddie lets up more than 6 runs or more this week. I don't know if it's bold or not, but it could be 3 runs and 3 runs. Not sure. Dan, what do you think? Freddie Peralta, 5.5 earned runs.
He has Braves, Red Sox.
Braves, Red Sox, yeah.
I'll take the under. Not really sure why, but I'll do it. I mean, sooner or later, talent just pops out, right? Maybe.
Frank, I'm afraid to ask.
Yeah, I'll
Freddie
take the
Peralta.
over.
Yeah, over, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
You
so
know.
I got Frank to say something positive about the children, but that was it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can acknowledge that we have those two good things going. Scott, I don't think he's gone 6 innings in any game yet this season, which that's a little concerning to me, but I also know he's coming off the injury, so um
I mean, especially now they should baby him, especially
yeah,
now.
no,
It
but
doesn't matter.
he's looked mostly good, like mostly positive for him. A good ERA. And then McLean, I've been vocal about me not being sure exactly what he is. A good week this week, so it's like we're on the meter and we're on the good side this week. Hopefully next week we won't be on the bad side. But there are the 5 players to watch. Frank's 5 players to watch right there, with Soto obviously being the fifth. Yeah, it's a tough state of affairs when you're rooting for 5 players on your on the total roster. Yeah.
Frank, when you were doing your David Stearns rant, I was just thinking about how you're going to roll your eyes when the trade deadline passes and I come on here and say Stearns master class. I think you're going to just jump out the window.
If someone tells me we got like some team's 13th best prospect and like, oh my God, this guy is a mastermind, I'm gonna, yeah, it's not gonna be pretty. There's
Listen,
gonna be a lot of eye rolls.
Cole Mathis for
Yeah.
David Peterson was
I,
great.
and I said,
He hasn't played a game
if we
yet.
get a living, breathing body for,
I think Cole Mathis is still concussed.
Concussion? I'll take your word for it. Don't look it up. It's
Yeah,
Cole
okay.
Mathis.
Yeah.
I
But
want to add, I want to add some bonus props before things really get heated up in the trade deadline.
We can do that.
To our list if you guys are willing.
Sure, why not?
And
I gotta make
the
up points somewhere.
I would like, instead of yes or no or an over under, for us to pick a date. When does the first best player get traded before the deadline, or before the All-Star break, or you know pick a date, and if you get the date right,
Mm.
5 points.
Oof.
oh,
But it's
you have
got
to
to be
be
that exact date.
precise,
It's
Yeah.
not
precise
like who's
date.
the closest. If you were able to pick the precise date that a New York Met gets traded, and it's got to be the first trade, not it can't. It's not like, oh, the second guy got traded on July 18th, and
Mhm.
that's the day that I picked.
All right, do you want to do
Um,
this now or for next week? Because it
do
could,
you?
in theory, it could happen
I was
over the
about to
next
say, do
week.
you think that it
Why
happens
wait?
over the next
Just
week? Right? Yeah,
just
I
do
feel like
it.
we should
It's
just do it now.
possible, but all right, I mean, I want everyone to like write it down so we don't all just say the exact same thing.
Sure.
All right, we have our 3 dates. Frank, you want to give yours first?
Yes, I went with July 12th. That's the day before the All-Star break. I think someone this week is going to be licking their chops. The Mets are very out, and why not try and do business as soon as possible?
It makes sense to me. I said July 15th. I think we're right around that same mark that week. I think that's when things will start to heat up. The Mets will have to just accept that they're not in this race. It's over for us. I think they already know that, but just they'll eventually have to make that first big move. That's not David Peterson, so I'll say July 15th.
I went with the 17th, that basically coming right out of the break. I think there's only one game between the break ending and that's the Mets playing the day before. So I feel like once we get through that week, that's when teams are really going to start getting active.
Okay, they all make sense. We're right there in the same week together. We'll definitely bounce back here. 5 points for whoever gets this right per Frank. So that could really boost somebody up and get a nice little lead in the standings. All right, we'll call it there. Let's go, Mets.
Let's go Mets.
Go Mets.